You don't lack motivation, you don't lack opportunity, you lack discipline, and not just any discipline, the kind that separates the top 1% from everyone else. The kind that makes millionaires wake up at 4 in the morning while you hit snooze for the third time. Your entire financial future depends on what you do when you don't feel like doing anything. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's not genetic. It's not a gift reserved for the elite. Discipline is installed software. It's a program, and right now, your brain is running the wrong one. In the next 24 minutes, I'm going to hand you the exact mental operating system that millionaires use to force themselves into action, even when every cell in their body screams to stop. We'll cover the neuroscience behind why you self-sabotage, the wealth habits that seem insane until you understand them, and the one mental shift that turns lazy people into machines. But I need you to do something first. Stay until the end. Because the last piece, the one most people never hear, is the one that changes everything. The discipline lie. Let me destroy a myth right now. You've been told your whole life that disciplined people just have more willpower than you, that they're stronger, that they were raised better. That's a lie. As the renowned psychologist Roy Baumeister discovered in his groundbreaking research, willpower is like a muscle. It gets fatigued with use. Disciplined people don't have more willpower. They've designed their lives so they need less of it. Think about it. You use willpower to resist the donut on the counter. The millionaire never bought the donut. You use willpower to force yourself to the gym. The millionaire laid out gym clothes the night before and drives past the gym on the way to work. The difference isn't strength, design. It's environmental design. A study from Duke University found that roughly 40% of our daily actions aren't actually decisions, they're habits. Your brain is running on autopilot nearly half the day. And if those automatic programs are set to scroll, snack, and procrastinate, no amount of motivation will save you. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That quote from James Clear isn't motivational fluff, it's neuroscience. But understanding this is only the beginning, because what comes next explains why your current systems are working against you. Poverty autopilot. Here's something that should terrify you. Your morning routine is a poverty program, not because waking up late makes you poor, but because every undisciplined morning reinforces a neural pathway that says comfort comes first. Your brain has been hijacked by the path of least resistance. Neuroscientists at MIT discovered that habits live in the basal ganglia, one of the most primitive parts of your brain. It doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care about your goals. It only cares about conserving energy. So when you set your alarm for 5 a.m. and hit snooze, that's not laziness. That's your basal ganglia doing exactly what it was designed to do, keep you comfortable and safe. The problem is, wealth isn't built in the comfort zone. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. Every time you choose the easy path, you're literally strengthening the neural circuits of mediocrity. Every time you skip the workout, avoid the hard conversation, or choose Netflix over your side business, your brain gets better at quitting. Comfort kills ambition. If this pattern sounds familiar, if you recognize yourself hitting snooze on your potential, hit like and subscribe to reprogram more of your discipline blocks, because the next one might be the exact pattern keeping you stuck. And speaking of patterns, what if I told you that millionaires have figured out how to hack this ancient brain system? The 5-second hack. Mel Robbins was lying in bed one night watching a rocket launch on television. And in that moment, watching the countdown from 5 to 1, something clicked. She realized that between every impulse to act and the action itself, there's a 5-second window. After that window closes, your brain kills the impulse. Every single time. 5 seconds is all you have before your brain talks you out of everything. This isn't motivational nonsense. This is backed by neuroscience. When you have an instinct to act on a goal, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making, lights up. But within 5 seconds, your limbic system, the fear center, floods you with doubt, excuses, and rationalizations. The millionaire's secret: they move before the fear arrives. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. That's literally the technique. It sounds absurdly simple, and that's exactly why it works. Your brain can't argue with physical motion. Once your body is moving, your mind follows. As the great William James, the father of American psychology, wrote, "Act as if what you do makes a difference." It does. Every millionaire I've studied has some version of this, a trigger that launches them into action before resistance can build. Some count down, some clap their hands, some have a physical anchor. The method doesn't matter. Speed beats resistance. But this only works if you understand the deeper force that's really controlling your behavior. Identity crisis. This is where most discipline advice falls apart. They tell you what to do: wake up early, exercise, meditate, read, but they never address the real problem. Identity. You can't consistently act in ways that contradict who you believe you are. If deep down you see yourself as someone who struggles with money, you will always find a way to struggle with money. If you identify as someone who can't stick to routines, you will sabotage every routine you start. This isn't opinion. Psychologist Dr. Maxwell Maltz discovered this in the 1960s when he noticed that plastic surgery patients who still saw themselves as ugly behaved identically to before the surgery. The self-image is the key to human personality and human behavior. Their external reality changed, but their internal identity didn't. The same applies to discipline. You don't need more tips and tricks. You need a new self-image. Millionaires don't have discipline because they try harder. They have discipline because they genuinely see themselves as disciplined people. You do not get what you want, you get what you believe you are. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Skip the gym. That's a vote for being someone who quits. Show up even for 10 minutes. That's a vote for being unstoppable. Identity drives behavior. But here's what gets really interesting. Because there's a specific time of day when your identity is most vulnerable to reprogramming. The morning code. Between 4 and 7 in the morning, your brain is in a theta state. This is the same brainwave frequency used in hypnotherapy. It's the state where your subconscious mind is most open to suggestion, most receptive to new programming. And what do most people do during this critical window? They check their phone and let the world program them. Email, social media, news. Within the first 15 minutes of waking up, the average person has consumed over 40 pieces of external information, most of it negative, stressful, or irrelevant. You just handed the keys to your subconscious to strangers. Millionaires guard this window like it's sacred, because it is. 1. No phone for the first 60 minutes. 2. Physical movement within 10 minutes of waking. 3. Visualization of the day's outcomes. 4. One focused priority before anything else. This isn't about being a morning person. This is about understanding that the first hour of your day programs the remaining 15. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote nearly 2,000 years ago, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. He wasn't being poetic. He was giving you the exact morning protocol for a disciplined mind. Start with gratitude, move your body, set your intention. The way you start your morning is the way you start your wealth. But morning routines are useless without understanding the invisible force that destroys discipline every single afternoon. Decision fatigue. In 2011, a groundbreaking study examined over 1,000 judicial decisions in Israeli courts. What they found shook the scientific community. Judges granted parole 70% of the time in the morning and nearly 0% by afternoon. Same judges, same types of cases, same laws, the only variable, how many decisions they'd already made that day. This is called decision fatigue, and it's the silent killer of discipline. Every decision drains willpower. Your brain has a finite amount of decision-making energy. Every choice, from what to wear, what to eat, how to respond to that email, draws from the same limited pool. By 3 p.m., most people are running on empty. And that's exactly when you reach for junk food, skip the gym, and binge Netflix instead of working on your goals. Now here's what millionaires figured out. Steve Jobs wore the same black turtleneck every day. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray t-shirt. Obama limited himself to 2 suit colors. I'm trying to pare down decisions. I don't want to make decisions about what I'm eating or wearing because I have too many other decisions to make. They're not being eccentric. They're conserving cognitive fuel for decisions that actually matter. Reduce trivial decisions. Automate everything you can. Meal prep on Sundays. Lay out clothes the night before. Create default responses for common situations. And the discipline you thought you lost, it was never lost. It was just spent on things that didn't matter. But even with full cognitive fuel, there's one enemy that defeats more people than anything else. Dopamine trap. Your phone is a dopamine slot machine, and it's making discipline nearly impossible. Here's the neuroscience. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical, it's the anticipation chemical. It fires before the reward, not during it. That's why you can scroll social media for 2 hours and feel nothing but emptiness afterward. Your brain got its dopamine hit from the anticipation of each new post, each new notification. Addiction. But here's the devastating part. When you flood your brain with cheap dopamine from social media, junk food, pornography, video games, you downregulate your dopamine receptors. This means normal activities, working, reading, exercising, building your business, feel impossibly boring by comparison. Your brain has been rewired to crave instant gratification and reject delayed rewards. This is why you can't focus. This is why you can't stick to your goals. Your neurochemistry has been hijacked. Dr. Anna Lemke from Stanford Medical School calls this the dopamine deficit state. We're living in a time of unprecedented access to high reward, high dopamine stimuli. The Millionaire's response, deliberate dopamine fasting, not some trendy Silicon Valley hack, but intentional periods of boredom. No phone, no stimulation, just you and the discomfort. Boredom builds discipline, because when you teach your brain to tolerate boredom, delayed gratification becomes easy. And delayed gratification is quite literally the foundation of all wealth. But knowing this won't help unless you understand the technique that makes discipline automatic. The 2-minute rule. Here's a paradox that will change your life. The secret to building massive discipline is to start so small it feels almost insulting. Want to meditate for 30 minutes? Start with 2. Want to run 5 miles? Start by putting on your shoes. Want to write a book? Start by writing 1 sentence. A habit must be established before it can be improved. This is what behavioral scientists call the 2-minute rule. And it works because of a neurological principle called activation energy. Every task has a starting threshold, the amount of mental energy required to begin. Big goals have enormous thresholds. Your brain sees them as threats and triggers avoidance. But tiny actions, your brain doesn't resist them. Water doesn't move the boulder by force. It moves it by consistent, relentless drops. The Japanese call this kaizen, continuous small improvement. Toyota built the world's most efficient manufacturing system on this principle, and you can build millionaire discipline the same way. Small actions repeated consistently become unstoppable forces of transformation. Here's what happens neurologically. Each time you complete even the tiniest disciplined action, your brain releases a small dose of dopamine, healthy dopamine, and strengthens the neural pathway associated with that behavior. Tiny wins compound daily. After 30 days, what was difficult becomes automatic. After 90 days, it becomes identity. And this connects perfectly to the next principle, the one that separates temporary motivation from permanent transformation. Pain as fuel. Every self-made millionaire I've studied has one thing in common. It's not intelligence. It's not connections. It's not luck. It's a specific relationship with pain. They learn to use discomfort as a compass pointing toward growth. Most people run from pain. They avoid hard conversations. They avoid financial reality checks. They avoid the discomfort of learning new skills. And in doing so, they guarantee a lifetime of the worst kind of pain, regret. The ancient Stoics understood this profoundly. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. And millionaires have internalized this truth at a cellular level. David Goggins, a man who went from being a 300-pound exterminator to a Navy SEAL and ultramarathon runner, calls this the calloused mind. Pain is the price. Every time you do something uncomfortable, your mind builds a callus. And just like calloused hands can grip harder, a calloused mind can endure more. The version of you that avoids pain is the same version that avoids wealth. Cold showers, hard workouts, difficult conversations, saying no when you want to say yes. These aren't punishment, they're training. Pressure creates diamonds, but none of this works without the final piece, the one principle that locks everything together permanently: the accountability. In 1965, researchers Howard Leventhal conducted an experiment at Yale University. He gave 2 groups of students the same pamphlet about the dangers of tetanus, same information, same fear. But one group received something extra, a map to the health center and a specific appointment time. The result, the group with the map was 9 times more likely to get vaccinated. Specificity and accountability are the engines of follow-through. You can have all the knowledge in the world about discipline. You can understand the neuroscience, the habits, the dopamine, the identity shifts. But without accountability, without a specific structure that holds you to your commitments, you will fail. This is why millionaires hire coaches, join masterminds, and surround themselves with people who demand excellence. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your closest friends celebrate mediocrity, you will be mediocre. If they celebrate discipline, you will be disciplined. It's not willpower. It's environment. Environment shapes destiny. Here's your action plan. Find one person, just one, who will hold you accountable. Tell them your specific goal. Give them permission to call you out when you slack. Schedule a weekly check-in. 1. Choose one accountability partner. 2. Set one specific measurable goal. 3. Schedule weekly check-ins every Sunday. 4. Make the cost of failure real and tangible. This isn't optional. This is the difference between knowing what to do and actually doing it, between information and transformation. 24 minutes. That's all it took. And now you have something that 95% of people will never have, the blueprint for millionaire discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is the bridge between your goals and your reality. Let me tie this together. Discipline isn't willpower, it's design. Your brain runs on autopilot, so program it deliberately. Use the 5-second rule to bypass resistance. Rebuild your identity one small vote at a time. Guard your mornings like they're worth millions, because they are. Conserve your decision energy for what truly matters. Starve your brain of cheap dopamine so real work becomes rewarding again. Start absurdly small and let compound growth do the heavy lifting. Embrace pain as your training ground and lock it all in with accountability. Knowledge without action is nothing. None of this works if you just watch and move on. You have to act today, not tomorrow, not Monday, today. As the great Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius commanded himself each morning, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. If you made it this far, prove it. Comment discipline installed if you're ready to run the millionaire operating system. Your mind is either programmed for wealth or poverty. Now you know how to reprogram it. If this video exposed something in you, subscribe. There's more to uncover.